go on and to move on to the next option that we wanted to cover, which is the IRA rollover. And I mentioned before that this is something that we're seeing as becoming a pretty common way of giving from our donors to the foundation. So if you wouldn't mind, Nora, just giving, again, your overview, and then I'll dive into some of the more specific donor-asked questions.
Sure. So this technique is referred to as a charitable IRA rollover or a qualified charitable distribution, or QCD. And this is a technique that's been in place for a while. And essentially what it does is it says that an account owner of a qualified account, and in this case, it has to be a traditional IRA, is able to make a charitable gift from the IRA directly to the charity, and that can satisfy that individual's required minimum distribution. So if someone is over 70 and a half, they can make a qualified charitable distribution from their IRA. It was initially $100,000. This year it's up to $105,000. And when someone reaches age 73 and under the updated laws, they have to begin taking those required minimum distributions from their IRA. So, if you have a client that has, 7 million in an IRA, that annual required minimum distribution might be about $350,000, which is not insignificant. And that amount, that's all income tax. What the qualified charitable distribution does is say, look, up to that $105,000 amount, you can direct that 105 goes directly from your IRA to a qualifying charitable organization. And if that happens, we'll treat it as a charitable gift. And what that does is it means that roughly 100,000 of the required minimum distribution has been satisfied by a charitable gift, and then the client just has to withdraw the balance, the 250. If a client this client's RMD is 100,000, that can be totally satisfied by the charitable gift. So what that means is that taxable income never hits that individual's income tax return. It never hits their adjusted gross income. So it's a really, really great planning tool.
Yeah, no kidding. So if the example that you mentioned, if somebody has an RMD of 350,000, 105 of that can be given directly to the charitable organization, and then their taxable income that year is reduced then to 200 something.
That's correct. Yeah.
That's incredible. It seems like a no-brainer if somebody is so inclined to give. So that's awesome. Excellent. This topic is a little more nuanced, right? It's a little less frequently referred to than bequests. So I'll ask some more specific questions that our donors have passed by. So can your other retirement plans, so can you look at your 401k, your 403b accounts, can those be used in this way as well?
So the answer is technically not. The QCD has to be from a traditional IRA. However, there's a workaround, right? You can roll funds over from a 401k to a traditional IRA. That's not a taxable event. So if I want to take advantage of this, I could roll funds from my 401k to a traditional IRA, and from there, I could make the qualified charitable distribution.
Interesting. Okay, good to know. Excellent. So what's the minimum age for making this IRA rollover gift? I know you said that there's been a change and there will be another change moving forward. I think you said to 2032 even, right? So what were those ages again?
Yes, the minimum age, you have to be over 70 and a half in the year that you make the gift. However, but then at this point, required minimum distributions for persons, for instance, my age, don't start until 73. And in 2032, it'll be 75. So it's really, and that's where you really have the best benefit from the qualified charitable distribution, is when you have to make those RMDs at age 73. At that point, then it's good because you can have the advantage of the charitable distribution. But again, you can do it anytime over age 70 and a half.
Sure. Okay. And you've already addressed the next question. If you can get a tax deduction from making this IRA rollover, the charitable IRA rollover, which yes, sounds incredible.
This is sort of a technical thing too, that I think it does bring up a really important part of a qualified charitable distribution. Technically, when you make a qualified charitable distribution, you're not getting a tax deduction because your gift it's not, remember I said it's not hitting your adjusted gross income. So it's technically not a deduction because it's going directly from your IRA, which is a separate entity, to the charity. But what it's doing is it's decreasing your taxable income. However, in order for that to work that way, and that's the better result. In order for it to work that way, the distribution must go directly from your IRA to the charity. If you intend to do this and you say, okay, I'm going to tell my financial advisor I want to take $100,000 out of my IRA to make a qualified charitable distribution, if it goes from the IRA to you, that's not a qualified charitable distribution. Taking it out directly to the individual now means that $100,000 hits that individual's adjusted gross income. Now that individual can make a gift, right? And if it's cash, it can be, up to 60% of their adjusted gross income. And then they take a deduction. But if you look at the numbers, the better result is to have it go directly from the charity, or I'm sorry, from the IRA to the charity, so that it's never hitting your adjusted gross income. And that's the better tax result. But if for some reason it does happen that it comes out to the individual, they can still make the charitable gift and they will get a deduction. They just don't get as much bang for their buck. So that's a really important part of a QCD. So if you ever have a financial advisor or someone else who says, oh yeah, withdraw it from your IRA and then give it to us. No. We want it to go from the IRA directly to the foundation.
Very good to know. That's a very good, that's a very good piece of information. Thank you. And can their IRA create an endowment?
So certainly you can use a retirement account to fund an endowment. Now, it'll go from the IRA to the endowment, but absolutely that can happen.
Awesome. Excellent. So we're going to go ahead and encourage anyone interested to talk about this with their, administrator to set this up a little more in depth. But thank you so much for that overview of the IRAs as well and the rollover.